From black separatists on the sidewalk in Philadelphia.
We're in a battle here in our country to preserve what white America started from the get.
To a national socialist in north central Pennsylvania.
Do you believe that most of the evil in the world comes from Islam?
Currently, absolutely.
To an accused anti-Muslim group from Bucks County. Your NBC 10 investigators travel to find what some call hate. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, there's been a rise in hate groups since President Donald Trump's candidacy and election.
Tonight, investigative reporter Mitch Blocker met face-to-face with the leaders of those groups.
Hands on the wall.
That's pretty part from.
Okay. Before we can meet the leader of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge at its Upper Darby headquarters, we meet his security. Once inside, we get his thoughts on President Trump.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was. And now that Donald Trump is in office, boy, it's clear now.
Commanding General YAHANNA told us his black separatist group is thriving, growing since the November election. But he won't say how many members the group now has.
I never say.
That might be the only thing he has in common with Daniel Burnside, the leader of the National Socialist Movement for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland. Won't tell us how many people are in his ranks either. But he tells us in Trump, his movement feels like it has a voice.
I chose not to back him and not to breathe his name until he was elected because I didn't want to cause him damage. That's how bad I wanted him in there.
What the Trump campaign and now the Trump presidency have done, in effect, is to normalize or legitimize a lot of the views of these groups.
The Southern Poverty Law Center calls YAHANNA and Burnside's organizations hate groups, an accusation both men deny. The SPLC says candidate, now President Trump, has played a role in a rising number of hate groups through his rhetoric at his rallies, his policies, and his tweets. The SPLC reports the number of hate groups operating rose to 917 in 2016. That is up from 892 in 2015.
I certainly do think that the Trump campaign and the election have had an effect.
The NBC 10 investigators asked the White House to respond to these claims. A spokesperson referred us to a specific line in the president's February address before Congress.
We are a country that stands united in condemning hate and evil in all of its very ugly forms.
The Southern Poverty Law Center says anti-Muslim groups in particular have benefited from some of President Trump's policies and his rhetoric, but one of the groups we talked to has a different story.
Islam we have a problem with.
Keith Davies is the executive director of the Shubat Foundation. Have you received more donations since Trump has been elected president?
No less.
Davies says he's glad the president is willing to talk about what he calls extreme Islam, but theorizes far-right supporters now don't think his group goes far enough. Davies insists his organization is not a hate group. Still, the Southern Poverty Law Center has the Shubat Foundation on its list of hate groups, a list that got longer in 2016.
We are within 100 groups of the highest count we have ever had in some 30 years of counting.
For the investigators, I'm Mitch Blocker, NBC 10 News.
Got longer in 2016. We are within 100 groups of the highest count we've ever had in some 30 years of counting.
Shalom, Israelites. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Run by Commanding General Honor, the man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I want to say Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai Barakatam to the brothers. Yahweh Shema Alatan Basham Yahweh to the sisters. Welcome to our Wednesday evening law class. All right. This is where we talk about the laws of God, laws of the Most High. The Most High leave in our laws as Israelites, the laws that we must live by.
Right.
It's the law that says, thou shalt not kill, which we know that is actually talking about murder. All right. Now there's a video circulating on social media where a soldier actually shoot a man on the ground, ending his life. Well, if that doesn't constitute murder, then I don't know what constitutes murder.
Right.
But it's a video which we're not going to play still. You know, because of the gruesome nature of the video, we're not going to play it.
Good.
But no, just an appeal to our we're not going to play it. Good. What do I call it now? Our leaders that are in charge, you know, our Eden style leaders, you know, you need to rein in these men. You can't be telling the man on the street saying enough you kill and then you're murdering these men.
Right.
In turn. When you know that these men are doing what they are doing because of the economic situation that they are in. Right? Because of the economic situation that they are in. You force them. You force them to commit atrocities which they wouldn't be committing had their economic situations been better.
Right.
But at the same time, in order for you to get rid of them, you know, you rather than you set up a court system where you're supposed to bring men in, try them, unless it was done by a soldier, unless there's a war going on where we don't know about. And even if there's a war going on, that is war crime.
Good.
There's no law that gives any, you know, even if a man come in your house, you know, you catch him, you know, and you hold him and you put him face down and shot him with it, you get in charge for murder.
Right. If them can prove it, you get charged for murder.
No, man, they won't tell us how to prove yourself in front of the judge.
Good, good.
They won't say, all right, maybe you're innocent, but from the look of this kind of sticky, you want to prove yourself in front of the judge.
Right.
But here we have now trained men of the law committing these atrocities. Put one in the man's head back. All right. Now, according to our the topic that we will be talking about this evening, we're saying that the Most High, which was the God of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, punishes disobedient children. Now, we know that the Jamaica Defense Force and the Jamaica Constabulary Force, they ain't going to get some punishment, you know.
Right.
Because for all these kind of extrajudicial killing, there's going to be a backlash. You want to tell me now that the only way you can think of fighting crime is to murder the citizens? How about come up with a social program where we all know that crime stems from a social program. Sorry, a social crime is a social problem, I should say.
Good.
Right? Social economic problem. Why not fix the economy so that these young men don't have to commit crime just to survive? It's terrible when they have to commit crime just because they want to survive, you know.
Right.
And then because you don't want the crime around, you know, just to solve the crime, you murder people. You know, it's very distasteful what these, and they are doing it to their own people. That's what the oppressor probably feel good when him see that. Yeah, man, get rid of the what's it, not them. We don't know the story behind that one, right? Even if they fired on the soldiers, you know, have him face down. There's nothing that give you the right to kill him like that. The only way it's not murder unless that bullet wasn't the bullet that killed the person.
Right.
Like he actually died before they shoot him like that. All right. But what our government is doing is they're training some murderers to be execute law and order over the people. And that's not good. All right. Get me 2 Kings 13, 1 to 10.
Canada one can.
Also on the international front, you know, things kind of steaming up more.
God.
You hear the Russian Prime Minister now making
President, yes.
Huh?
Russian president.
The Prime Minister, Sergei Lavrov or something like so.
Okay. Good.
Making talk of they call it nuclear threat.
Possibilities. Good.
And Putin now make talk say, listen, it's not a bluff, me call it, you know.
Right.
I tell you don't do this, and you keep on doing it, and it's not a bluff.
Right.
So, well, I don't know if he means bluffing or not. One thing we here in the I.S.U.P.K know undercover the General Anna is that a nuclear war is coming.
Right.
That is all we know. But as if this one is a bluff, I don't know. All right, also 1 Kings 13.
Cancer. Canada one can. This is the book of Slakia. Is it 1 King or 2 King?
1 Kings.
Okay, cancer. This is the book of 1 King chapter 13 and 1. And behold, there came a man of God out of Judah by the word of the Lord unto Bethel, and Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense.
All right. Verse 2.
Canada one can, verse 2. And he cried against the altar in the word of the Lord, and said, O altar, altar, thus said the Lord, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name, and upon thee shall he offer the priests of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burned upon thee.
All right, so Jeroboam was king in the northern kingdom, but the Most High was angry with him because he kept worshiping idols and has led the people, because he has the power and the might. What he has done is led the people away, led the flock away from the Most High God of Israel, and has led them to idols. The Most High now send a prophet up there, just in time as Jeroboam was gonna Jeroboam was going to, what do you call it, sacrifice or burn incense. The prophet spoke, prophesying to the altar. The whole altar. And even tell him the name of the person from the southern kingdom, the king from the southern kingdom, who is going to come and rage a civil war up there, up in the north. And so that he just to remove the high places and to sacrifice those who are swing from the Most High and sacrificing unto idols, make them into a sacrifice. Continue.
Canada 1 gun, verse 3. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign which the Lord has spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out.
All right. So when you see that happen, you're going to know that it's true. I'm talking. The altar is going to burst in two. And the ashes that is upon the altar is going to fall to the ground. Continue.
Canada 1 gun, verse 4. And it came to pass, when King Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of God, which had cried against the altar in Bethel, that he put forth his hand from the altar, saying, Lay hold on him. And his hand which he put forth against him dried up, so that he could not pull it in again to him.
All right. So that was the what do you call it now? That would have been Jeroboam stretched forth the hand as a king. Seize that man. The hand dry up.
So like, yeah, I know the same thing like we reach where with the sign that the Most High showed with Moses, where he turned leper.
Moses and turned leper. This man and turned, like the mummy them dry up.
Gone.
Yeah, his hand became something like that.
Okay, gone.
So much so that he couldn't pull it in back.
Basically, undead.
Right.
Gone.
And what did he do after that now?
Canada 1 gun, verse 5. The altar also was rent, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign which the man of God had given by the word of the Lord.
What verse you read?
I just read verse 5.
All right, so 5 says the altar was rent and the ashes poured out. Right, so that which he spoke of, they saw it happening. 6.
Canada 1 gun, verse 6. And the king answered and said unto the man of God, Entreat now the face of the Lord thy God, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored me again. And the man of God besought the Lord, and the king's hand was restored him again, and became as it was before.
So you see, all this thing that they push on you is really just power, though. Because Jeroboam knew who was God, know what God was capable of.
Right.
Knowing that there was no other God but that God. But yet still he gave the people idols. Why? Because of power. So in other words, then, when the people worship God the right way, or they should, the king's power, the king having power, yes, but the king is not able to do what he wants to do.
Right.
Now, this king now, Jeroboam from the northern kingdom, king over the northern kingdom, knows that the people should go down to the southern kingdom for worship. But he did this thing He did this thing because of power. He was power
Right.
hungry. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 7. And the king said unto the man of God, come home with me and refresh thyself, and I will give thee a reward.
Go on.
Another one can. Verse 8. And the man of God said unto the king, if thou wilt give me half thine house, I will not go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place.
Right. Even if you're not going to give me half of your house, I'm not going to come with you.
Right.
I don't want anything to eat or drink in this place. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 9. For so was it charged me by the word of the Lord, saying, eat no bread, nor drink water, nor turn again by the same way that thou camest.
All right. So that was turned. That's what the Most High told this prophet.
Right.
Don't eat no bread, don't eat anything, don't drink any water. In other words, the Most High is basically telling him, don't have nothing to do with him up there. Just go deliver the word and come back. Don't even walk in the same direction you walk to go up.
Right.
The Most High was treating them like an heathen. Even though he wanted to save them, he was treating them like an heathen.
Right.
You know, just go and tell them what you have to tell them. Don't congregate with them. And come back. Verse 10.
Another one can. Verse 10. So he went another way and returned not by the way that he came to Bethel.
Right. Continue.
Verse 11. Now there dwell an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works that the man of God had done that day in Bethel, the words which he had spoken unto the king. Them they told also to their father.
Okay. 12.
Verse 12. And their father said unto them, what way went he? Verse Slakia. For his sons had seen what way the man of God went, which came from Judah.
Go on.
Verse 13. And he said unto his sons, Slakia, saddle me the ass. So they saddled him the ass, and he rode thereon.
Right. Saddle up my donkey for me then. I'm going to find this man. Go on.
Right. Another one can. Verse 14. And went after the man of God and found him sitting under an oak. And he said unto him, art thou the man of God that camest from Judah? And he said, I am.
So I'm find him, catch up with him, and he was sitting under an oak tree.
Okay.
Continue.
Another one can. Verse 15. Then he said unto him, come home with me and eat bread. Verse 16. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water with thee in this place. Verse 17. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, thou shalt eat no bread nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest.
Right. So I'm telling the old prophet now what the Most High told him. Go on.
Another one can. Verse 18. He said unto him, I am a prophet also as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him.
So he's now a false prophet. Right? Now these are the things that, this is one thing you have to look out for in life, you know. When the Most High speak to you in the truth. Speak to Commanding General YAHANNA and tell him what to do. Right? Now, I don't really know of any ranking officer who does this, but the rhetoric outside of I.S.U.P.K is strong and getting
Right.
stronger and can derail people of the truth.
Right.
Right? You in the truth, you're getting nurtured, you're getting the word undiluted. Then you start to listen to another group for whatever reason. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe just your test that other group start to tell you, hey, you know, you must not have more than one wife.
Right.
I mean, we show it to you biblically, then they are going to now tell you by word of mouth and put spin on the scriptures. What else they like to tell they preach against?
That the white man can be safe. Everybody can be safe.
Right. Many of them out there say it's not only Israel. It's not only Israel will be saved.
Right.
Other nations will be saved.
Good.
Save out. Well, maybe they will save in a cleft of the rock.
Right.
Right? Because I'm sure after the nuclear holocaust, the scripture tell us that we will have other nations serving us. I'm sure those nations did not get on the chariot.
Right.
So, you know, they need to clarify. We don't know how those other nations are going to be saved. We know the scripture says men hide themselves in the cleft of the rock. How else? And cry to the mountain, fall on me.
Good.
Right. We know that they have these military bases. But that is not salvation. That's not the salvation that the Most High speak. Because all of them who go and hide in those things, those are the ones that you are going to bust open. That's
Right.
what the scripture says. So these brothers are our sisters. And some of the sisters, because I've met a sister, we call, you might meet a Israelite who is not in the truth, we call him Jake. We call him woman now. We shall call him Jacqueline. What they
Eve.
call
I think
Eve.
it's Eve.
Well, Eve is really the Judite one they call Eve.
Okay, good, good.
All right. But let's call her Eve. I've met Eves where they say, you know, I listen to the UPK class and it's true and I believe them and blah, blah, blah. But if my man go and have another woman, me and him are going to left. I've heard that many times.
Right.
Right? So that show, you know, and that's what many of them go to the other Israelite groups for, because they want to be self-servient.
Right.
They want it's just like the Christian church, where you go and choose the church that suits you best. So obviously they have not learned anything. They are not learning anything.
Can.
Right? The Most High, when Moses took us from Egypt all the way down to Christ, from ever since the Most High keep teaching us and telling us that it's him we should listen to, not what you want to do. Right? The thing that God supports you in whatever you want to do, that's really just idolatry.
Right.
Belief of other religion.
Good.
Or today we said it's just the Christian belief. Right? Just like how this prophet here now come out to deceive this other prophet. I said, I too am a man of God, and an angel came and spoke to me. The same kind of rhetoric we have today again.
Good.
Because all of them fake Israelite group is the same thing them say. The Spirit of God is not just in the UPK. Right? The Spirit of God is to be found with anyone who know the truth. And whichever way they push it. But that day is gonna come which the Most High is gonna choose who he is with.
Right.
And so far, we are seeing those choices.
Gone.
Look, we see the UPK. Now they are going to in the same way that the UPK under command in General went down to almost zero. And look at it today. They are going to get those tests.
Good.
Right? And when they go down to zero, they are going to be staying at zero.
Right.
Then they are going to know who the Most High is with. All right, next verse.
Another one gun.
I think it's 19.
Another one gun, verse 19. So he went back with him and did eat bread in his house and drank water.
20.
Verse 20. And it came to pass as they sat at the table that the word of the Lord came unto the prophet that brought him back.
21.
Another one gun, verse 21. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, for as much as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and hast not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded thee. Verse 22. But camest back, and hast eaten bread and drunk water in the place of the which the Lord did say to thee, Eat no bread and drink no water. Thy carcass shall not come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers.
All right. Because of disobedience, you won't even bury in the burying place of your fathers.
Right.
This is how the Most High treats disobedient children. You know, he's not going to come down here and talk, you know. He worked through us. But as soon as we get disobedient and start to make him look like I don't know what, then he's now going to move at you.
Right.
So, I mean, do we want God to move at us? And make moves on us? No, sir. That's not nice. We should seek to live and not for the Most High to use us as an example.
Right.
That's what happened when that is what happened to this prophet here. Because today we are now able to read this and say, So when God tells you to do something, if he's going to make a change, make him tell you, not put anything through anybody.
Right.
You understand? Well, luckily for us in the UPK today, it is much easier. Yeah, man, whatever the Most I want, tell him to command in General YAHANNA.
Right.
Right? I mean, when you look at the growth of the school, you can see that the Most I work with other brothers. But things like that now where he's going to send somebody, another prophet can't come to you and tell you, I too am also a prophet. That is definitely, from the moment him going to say that, you know. Yes. From the moment a person going to come to you and tell you that, you know. It was just like Moses and his sister and the other people. But we all are God's people.
Good.
God don't work only through you, Moses. We all are clean too, so he can work through us. Competition right there, so you know.
Good.
And what the Most I generally do is cut cut down. Well, is the disobedient one gonna get cut down?
Right.
In this case, the very one who we sent up there became disobedient. So he got cut down. Go on.
Another one can. Verse 23. And it came to pass after he had eaten bread and after he had drunk that he saddled for him the ass, to wit, for the prophet whom he had brought back. Slakia. Verse 24. And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way and slew him, and his carcass was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass.
Go on.
Another one can, verse 25. And behold, men passed by and saw the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass. And they came and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelt.
Yeah, man, I can't imagine all that to them. Boy, I see something go there, so this must be a sign. A lion kill a man. Man, I ride the horse. The lion kill the man and sit down beside the man. And the horse sit down beside the man too, and they're not eating the horse, not eat the man.
God.
This must be a sign. That's how they must have been telling it in the city. Well, you know how dramatic we can be at times, right? Israelites. 26.
Another one can, verse 26. And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, it is the man of God who was disobedient unto the word of the Lord. Therefore the Lord has delivered him unto the lion, which has torn him and slain him, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake unto him.
Right. 27.
Another one can, verse 27. And he spake to his son, saying, saddle me the ass. And they saddled him. Verse 28. And he went and found his carcass cast in the way, the ass and the lion standing by the carcass. The lion
Still
had
by
not
the carcass.
Slack it.
No, I said with the lion still standing by his carcass.
Another one
His
can.
dead body.
Another one can.
Continue.
The lion had not eaten the carcass, nor torn the ass. Verse 29. And the prophet took up the carcass of the man of God and laid it upon the ass and brought it back. And the old prophet came to the city to mourn and to bury him.
30.
Another one can, verse 30. And he laid his carcass in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, alas, my brother. Verse 31. And it came to pass.
Continue.
Okay,
Continue.
Another one can. And it came to pass after he had buried him that he spake to his son, saying, when I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre wherein the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones.
Yeah, when my time come to give up the ghost, put me in that same cave.
Gun.
Put me in that same sepulchre. Right beside the man of God. Because he know that he deceived the man.
Right.
Continue.
Another one can. Verse 32. For the saying which he cried by the word of the Lord against the altar in Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which are in the city of Samaria, shall surely come to pass. Verse 33.
Right.
Slakia.
Right, that must come to pass. He knows because the Most High spoke to him.
Right.
And killed the other prophet. So he knows that what this prophet says is true.
Right.
Go on.
Another one, verse 33. After this thing, Jeroboam returned not from his evil way, but made again of the lowest of the people, priest of the high places. Whoever would, he consecrated him, and he became one of the priests of the high places.
Whosoever would was consecrated. Doesn't that sound like the Christian church?
Right.
How do you become a pastor in the Christian church?
You just go to what them call it, seminary college.
Go to one of the seminaries.
Right.
What's the other word they call them?
Theologian school or something
Theology.
like that.
To college and study theology.
Okay.
Right. I mean, you don't have to be any special person. At this time, you have to be a Judite. Sorry, Levite.
Levite, God.
To be a priest. But here now, what the Jeroboam did, anybody who wants to be a priest can be a priest.
God.
Just like Christianity. There's no calling.
Right.
There's no calling to say this man was called by God. They thought that, yes, but anybody can be a pastor.
Good.
So they get that right out of the playbook of Jeroboam. Continue.
Another one, verse 34. And this thing became sin unto the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and to destroy it from off the face of the earth.
All right, so even that Jeroboam, even if you were of another nation and you want to be a priest, you could be a priest. Because Jeroboam's wife was, no, and everybody was Jezebel. But Jezebel came up under the same idolatry. Right?
Okay.
And Jezebel used to give orders to the priests. The high place priests. Right? So under Jeroboam, there was nothing to say you have to be a Israelite to be a priest. So you don't have to be from any specific tribe. You don't have to be from any specific family. In Israel, to be a high priest, you have to be a son of Aaron from the tribe of Levi.
Right.
That gives you a kind of prestige. But Jeroboam now made priests from the lowest of the people.
Right.
That was chapter 13.
Chapter 13, sir. Gun.
Let's go to 14.
Another one. Gun. This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 14 and 1. At that time, Abijah, the son of Jeroboam, fell sick.
Continue.
Another one. Gun. Verse 2. And Jeroboam said to his wife, Arise, I pray thee, and disguise thyself, that thou be not known to be the wife of Jeroboam, and get thee to Shiloh. Behold, there is Ahijah the prophet, which told me that I should be king over this people.
Go on.
Another one, verse 3. And take with thee 10 loaves, and cracknels, and a cruse of honey, and go to him. He shall tell thee what shall become of the child.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4.
So now him sick, you know. However, the child was sick.
Yeah, conscious.
So he's now remember God.
God.
So much so that he's ashamed that him, hiding, seeking to save the child life.
Gun.
Continue.
Another one, gun, verse 4. And Jeroboam's wife did so and arose and went to Shiloh and came to the house of Ahijah. But Ahijah could not see, for his eyes were set by reason of his age.
Right. In that old and can't see, his eye get dim.
Gun.
But glasses wasn't invented yet. Eyeglasses wasn't invented yet. Continue.
Another one, gun, verse 5. And the Lord said unto Ahijah, Behold, the wife of Jeroboam cometh to ask a thing of thee for her son, for he is sick. Thus and thus shalt thou say unto her, for it shall be, when she cometh in, that she shall feign herself to be another woman.
Right. She was pretending to be someone else.
Right.
Go on.
Another one, gun, verse 6. And it was so when Ahijah heard the sound of her feet as she came in at the door, that he said, Come in, thou wife of Jeroboam. Why feignest thou thyself to be another? For I am sent to thee with heavy tidings.
I'm sent to you with a heavy message.
Right.
Not no good message for you, my dear. 7.
Another one, verse 7. Go tell Jeroboam, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, for as much as I exalted thee from among the people and made thee prince over my people Israel. Verse 8. And rent the kingdom away from the house of David and gave it thee, and yet thou hast not been as my servant David, who kept my commandments and who followed me with all his heart, to do that only which was right in mine eyes. Verse 9. But hast done evil above all that were before thee, for thou hast gone and made thee other gods and molten images to provoke me to anger, and hast cast me behind thee, slack thy back.
Cast what?
Another one, and hast cast me behind thy back.
Okay. Right. That's what they do with the Most High in the Northern Kingdom. Put God behind them.
Rather
than in front of them. Go on.
Another one, verse 10. Therefore, behold, I will bring evil upon the house of Jeroboam, and will cut off from Jeroboam him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel, and will take away the remnant of the house of Jeroboam, as a man taketh away dung, till it be all gone.
Destroy the house of Jeroboam. That means to say there is none of his descendants live around today, you know. Continue.
Another one, verse 11. Him that dieth of Jeroboam in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that dieth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat, for the Lord has spoken it.
Not even burial. Continue.
Another one, verse 12. Arise thou therefore, get thee to thine own house, and when thy feet enter into the city, the child shall die.
As soon as the foot touch the city, dead picnic. But if she love the child and she don't go back home.
Right. Stay outside the city. Another one,
Huh?
Slacky, I better stay outside of the city.
Yeah.
Good,
And say,
good.
since as you so smart, try work out another way and say, all right, and I'm going to the city now, I'll bring the child out. Make the child come out to me outside the city.
Good.
Continue.
Another one, gun, verse 13. And all Israel shall mourn for him and bury him, for he only of Jeroboam shall come to the grave, because in him there is found some good thing towards the Lord God of Israel in the house of Jeroboam.
Yes, everybody gonna mourn him because he's king.
Gun.
Gonna bury him. But it's only Jeroboam will get the grave.
Gun.
The others ain't gonna get no grave. That is talking about his children. Damn.
Yeah.
14.
Another one, gun, verse 14. Moreover, the Lord shall raise him up a king over Israel, who shall cut off the house of Jeroboam that day. But what? Even now.
Go on.
Verse 15. For the Lord shall smite Israel as a reed is shaken in the water, and he shall root up Israel out of this good land, which he gave to their fathers, and shall scatter them beyond the river, because they have made their groves provoke the Lord to anger.
Don't provoke God. Right? So you see? And I mean, this provocation, this is why the Most High treat Jeroboam the way he treated him. Because this provocation that we are reading about, I mean, that northern kingdom has not been back to God even until today.
Right.
So that's why the Most High dealt so with him. Continue.
Another one, gun. Verse 15. Verse 16. And he shall give Israel up because of the sins of Jeroboam, who did sin, and who made Israel to sin. Verse 17. And Jeroboam's wife arose and departed and came to Tirzah. And when she came to the threshold of the door, the child died.
Well, must want to say for true.
God.
18.
Another one, gun, verse 18. And they buried him, and all Israel mourned for him, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by the hand of his servant Ahijah the prophet. Verse 19. And the rest of
Ahijah the prophet. Hold on. So he died, they bury him, all Israel mourn for him. Just like all the Most I say. It happened.
Okay.
All right, continue.
Another one, gun, verse 19. And the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, how he warred and how he reigned, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel.
Right, so there is a set of books where called Chronicles.
Okay.
I think we have them as First and Second Chronicles. Right, that give you the record of the kings. Now, if we didn't lose our kingdom, we would have all those records would, and they're probably still around. Probably Rome of it.
Right.
That's why Rome has studied us, This is why they are able to put this iron fist on us. Grip us with a iron grip.
Okay.
Right. So even though the Most I say he was going to punish us a certain way and thing. Esau went and studied again. So study our ways. What make us good and what make us bad.
Right.
All right. And they read about, they probably have the rest, because there must be more chronicles about kings and the acts of the kings than what is in the Bible. So maybe
Yeah,
they
man.
have some reading, which is why they are able to put so many schemes on us.
God.
All right, continue.
Another one, verse 20. And the days which Jeroboam reigned were 22 years, and he slept with his fathers, and Nadab his son reigned in his stead.
All right, so I mean that's a whole heap of years to be pushing idolatry. 20 years.
God.
Cement himself. But anyway, he passed the throne to his son Nadab. Continue.
Another one, verse 21. And Rehoboam the son of Solomon reigned in Judah. Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which the Lord did choose out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamah, an Ammonitess.
His mother's name. Right. So his mother's this is Rehoboam.
Okay.
But Rehoboam mother grew up in Ammon. Grew up among the Japanese. Think of and the same thing is being happening today.
Right.
Our people migrate and go and live among other nations because of economic situation. This is nothing new.
God.
Right? So this woman now grew among Ammon. She was an Ammonitess woman. Continue.
Another one, verse 22. And Judah did evil in the sight of the Lord, and they provoked him to jealousy with their sins, which they had committed, above all that their fathers have done.
Provoke him to jealousy with their sins. So they keep going. Each generation doing more. And what is it? It's the idolatry. It's idolatry.
Right.
All right. In Christianity, we celebrate Easter. Just going through the Easter weekend, right?
Okay.
Back then, celebration of this kind. This was one religion. Ishtar, Queen of Heaven, the Bible talk of. All right.
Right.
Well, Christianity also celebrate Christmas. That was one religion in itself.
Right.
Celebrating the New Year, the New Year celebration now, God of beginnings. It wasn't called Janus then. I don't know what to show what it was. Religion then was called, but it was around.
Right.
Right? And other religion. Till they celebrated the God of the seas. All these other religion. What Christianity do now is just take all of them. Take all of them and put under one umbrella.
God.
So, I mean, whether you understand or not, you will get tricked.
God.
Because many of them understand and still staying there. Many of them understand that, but you hear them say, man, I know that they used to celebrate the Queen of Heaven at this time, but I am celebrating the resurrection of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Bible says you should celebrate it. What is in the Bible? the feast days that are in Leviticus 11.
Gone.
I live now 23, you know. Leviticus 23. 11 is the dietary law. Leviticus 23 tell us the feast days that you should celebrate. And Christ did celebrate them because Christ rode on the horse into the ass into Jerusalem right during this time, and they call that Palm Sunday. But we have the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which it tells you that we should celebrate with the palm trees, the branches of palm tree and the branches of goodly trees.
Good.
So when Christ was riding into Jerusalem and they had the branches of the trees, that was celebrating the feast of the unleavened bread.
Gun, sir. It's Leviticus 23, sir, like what you said. Gun, sir.
Yeah, 23.
Gun.
So Christ did celebrate the feast days of the Most High.
Right.
Christ never set any new feast days. But Christianity now, because is the oppressor behind it, and everybody love the white man because it's him behind it. If I tell you now, you know, because you have been demonized, you know. Who you? But you see the video that you see with the soldier them shoot the man face down, you know. If they caught a man in Jamaica, a white man in Jamaica, committing a crime, they wouldn't treat him that way.
Yeah.
So that show you that what within the army, them have the mark of the beast. That's the mark of the beast. They demonize their own people and raise the others. They wouldn't treat another race like that. I don't see the person who they shoot, but we know it's a black man they shoot. All right, verse what now?
Verse 23. Another one gun. For they also built them high places and images and groves and every high hill and under every green tree.
Christianity do the same thing. There's a church and in every island, every green tree.
Right.
Jamaica being in Guinness World Book of Record for having the most church per square mile. Not in the Caribbean, not in the Western Hemisphere, but in the entire world. Because they have erected churches on every island, every green tree, just like idolatry, celebrating the idols. Continue.
Another one gun, verse 24. And there were also Sodomites in the land.
And
they did
there too.
Gun. Another one gun. And they did according to all the abominations of the nations which the Lord cast out before the children of Israel.
Yeah, man sleep with man. Man believing that they are woman dressing like woman.
Gun.
Why you think the Most High put it in our laws that men should not wear women apparel, women clothes? Why you think they put it? Because that was what was happening.
Right.
Right? There's no law that says you should or should not take a rocket to the moon. Why? Because men wasn't going to the moon then.
Okay.
So the Most High didn't need to regulate that.
Right.
But the things he had to regulate were the things men were doing. Men were worshiping idols. Men were sleeping with men. Men were sleeping with animals. Men were eating unclean food.
Okay.
The Most High did not want us doing all those things. But I don't know if by the next time Christ returns, if he's going to regulate now, we might have a rocket say, we might have a law that says, don't go to the moon with any Eden.
Yeah.
Least he decide to do you evil up there in the sight of no one.
Good.
Next verse.
Gun another one gun. Verse 25. And it came to pass in the 5th year of King Rehoboam that Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem.
Right, so Egypt now start to pre-Jerusalem. The temple there look pretty, man. Here's a whole lot of gold in it. Wonder if I can get some. Continue.
Another one gun. Verse 26. And he took away the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house. He even took away all. And he took away all the shield of gold which Solomon had made.
Right, see? Clean sweep. 27.
Another one gun. Verse 27. And King Rehoboam made in their stead brazen shields and committed them unto the hands of the chief of the guard, which kept the door of the king's house.
Right, so this is why when I read Revelation, I tell about the new city Jerusalem, and I tell you that angels were at the gate guarding it. These are the things why have angels guarding there, because you know what the thing happen. These other nations come among you and spy out the place. How do you think he was able to go and know that what was in the temple? Because he had spies, he would have to have spies in Jerusalem who bring back report to him. As they couldn't go in the temple, but they would hear.
Okay.
Or you know, the chalice in the temple, they are made of gold. And Solomon have made a shield of solid gold. You know, that's supposed to worth X amount of money. And so on.
Okay.
Continue, read on.
Another one gun. Verse 28. And it was so when the king went into the house of the Lord that the guard bear them and brought them back into the guard chamber.
Go on.
Another one gun. Verse 29. Now the rest of the acts of Rehoboam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah?
Right. So when kings, well, obviously kings would have been written after Chronicles. So it was common knowledge as to where you would go to find the history of any king that you want to research what they did and so on. You go to the Chronicles. Continue.
Another one gun. Verse 30. And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all their days. Verse 31.
Civil war. We know that civil war was rampant between both kingdoms. Go on.
Another one gun. Verse 31. And Rehoboam slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And his mother's name was Naamah, and Ammonitess, and Abijam, his son, reigned in his stead.
So that's the story of the disobedience. The prophet who the Most High sent to warn them was disobedient, and that entire kingdom became disobedient. Even unto today.
Good.
Even unto today. Right? Are they more disobedient than us? I don't think I would say that. Because, I mean, the southern kingdom, from the southern kingdom, all Israel now gone to idolatry. It's only those in the truth under Commanding General YAHANNA, and in the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA is now trying to, make how I put it now. Trying to make our election sure and also to make our light shine among men.
Okay.
They're trying to win men by living the word,
Right.
not by just word of mouth. Right? So, there's many trials and things that comes along the way with all this. All right. I think that's sufficient enough for disobedience for this time. Questions? Any questions?
No question, sir. Thought I had one. Slack, yeah.
Let me see what's here.
So, yes, sir. In 1 Corinthians 14, I'm reading that chapter in Greek, and it speaks about the tongue, speaking in tongue. Verse 9, it says, so likewise, except we utter by the tongue words easy to understand, how shall it be known what is spoken, for he speak in the air? Verse 39, it says,
Which book you reading?
It's 1 Corinthians 14.
Oh, Corinthians.
Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy and forbid not to speak in tongues. I say covet to prophesy and forbid not to speak in tongues.
All right, the covet mean. Okay. All right, give me the scripture again. Let me find. That's the 1 Corinthians
14.
First Corinthians 14 verse
39.
Right, this speak about prophecy and tongues. 39 or 38, 39 or just 39?
Not hearing you, sir.
Just 39. The question is
several verses, but it's kind of lengthy. So
yeah, because the entire that chapter is speaking about prophecy, the gift of prophecy, and tongues. Now you know this is a forbid not to do what? Read 29. Forbid not to
speak in tongues.
All right. So you saw your tongue slip a while ago and say speak what? In tongues. Because that's the way the church put it.
Good.
Speak in tongues. But this is saying speak what?
With tongues.
I'm sorry, just a misunderstanding, but I know the verse that said with tongues.
It's no man. It says with tongues, right? All right. So why the church says speak in tongues rather than speak with tongues?
I have no idea.
Because of the babbling that they do, that they speak in tongues. But here it is tell you, speak with tongues would be speaking other languages.
Good.
And we have to do that because not all the 12 tribes speak English. Right? The Asian, they don't speak English.
Right.
Right? The Mexicans were the tribe of I.S.U.P.K.
Good.
Right? The Gadites, they have their tongue that they speak in, but they speak English also because of the white oppression. You have the they call them Brazilian,
Brazilians, God.
speaking Portuguese,
Portuguese.
right?
God.
So that is with tongue. So you find that in the truth now you have Israelites coming in with different tongues. Yeah.
So I can recall in years ago, I was a part of the church. Right? There are a lot of things I used to question.
Mm-hmm.
And it's after coming to the truth, like the interpretation that cleared up my let me understand what the scriptures are saying. Because I can remember saying to somebody, maybe a deacon or somebody of a certain rank in the church, when it speak about speaking with tongues, we usually say speaking in tongues. That's what they interpret it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But when it says speaking
With tongues.
with tongues, isn't this speaking about different languages?
That's what I'm explaining.
Yes, because I've always held on to that thought that this must be speaking about different, even long before coming to the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? But being the truth, it cleared up my
Your doubts.
the doubts.
Right.
But there's a particular deacon.
Before you go further, also what we use, you have Spanish, you have Portuguese and so in the coming in the truth. But everybody will teach everybody one tongue, which is all right. Canada one can. Shalom. That's our original tongue. Right? So we don't forbid speaking in the Hebrew original tongue. We don't forbid speaking in if the tribal Gadites, we don't forbid them speaking with their tongue. Right?
Oh, so sir, when it says forbid not to speak in tongues, forbid
not with in tongues, with tongues.
sorry. Forbid not to speak with tongues. It's basically speaking about the different languages among us as different tribes in Israel.
Exactly. You speak, they are free to speak in the tongue, their tongue. This is not talking about the Bible that you would get from the church. Right? Because if that was righteous, what they speaking as the church would do. The pork mouth person couldn't do it. Person eating unclean food couldn't do it. You get me?
Right.
They are lawbreakers. And when Paul was doing this, and when the disciples were doing this, writing these books and things, they were all keeping the laws. And because we in the truth is keeping the laws, our original Hebrew tongue is coming back.
Right.
And it was the same thing then. You had the majority of them spoke Greek, but you know, there was the ancient, there was the original Hebrew tongue. That is how we know Christ's right name to be Yahawashi. All right. You had something else. Yeah.
The interpretation part of it, where it says, I can't don't remember where exactly, trying the verses, but in more than one verse that talking about the interpretation.
Oh, wait, say if there's no interpreter, then put them outside. That one?
Something of this sort.
All right. Be specific then. Which one you're talking? Whatever you hear, that's why we teach it Hebrew language class. Here it is interpreted. The Spanish class speaking to the Spanish people, Spanish brothers who like the brother over Mexico, when he keeps his class in Spanish. If you should go in that class, it can be what he said can be interpreted to you in your language, in your English language. Right. But you in your English language, you want somebody Israelite from a country we don't understand yet, and just get up and start speaking in. He start talk to you in his language. You don't know what he's saying. Yeah.
So I guess it would come in, it would verse 27 speak to that where it said, if any man speaking an unknown tongue, let it be by two, or by the most by three, and that by course
Hold on.
and
What you're
one
reading?
interpret. Verse 27.
27. If anyone speaking an unknown tongue, let it be by two, or at least most the three, and that by course let one interpret. Yeah, you have to have interpreter. But if there be no interpreter, let him keep silence in the church. Keep silence in the congregation. Let him speak to himself. It's as you say, all right. Can you have somebody in Jamaica here come in your class and speak in Spanish? I said, any question? And he get up and start speaking Spanish. But it wouldn't have to be somebody interpreting to me what he's saying.
Okay.
Let's say there is no one interpreting what he's saying. What should I do?
Tell him to keep
What the
quiet.
scripture says. Tell him to keep quiet.
Okay.
True or false? Is this? Yeah. Tell him to keep quiet. Because he's speaking in a tongue that I can't interpret. I don't speak Spanish. So I have the right to tell him, be quiet. We don't know what to say. Speak to God in your Spanish tongue.
When he speaks Spanish, sir, you speak English. You both do not understand each other. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You tell him to keep silent or maybe go outside. Then,
Or if he's not disturbing the class. All right. You have some persons who understand. You speak to them in English, they understand what this is, but they can't speak back to you in English, you know. And this is when we start traveling, we realize this. Yeah. You speak to them and then they can follow what you're saying, but they can't respond back to you in English, right? Because they don't speak fluent English. But they have been around English people so long that they understand. Once you're not speaking rapidly, they can understand you. So they could come in your class and listen and know what your topic is about and follow. But they can respond back to you in English. So what you would do with such person? You have to tell them, you know, you wouldn't put them outside. You tell them, why you can't ask a question if you can't speak English. You tell them to ask some more questions. Right. So in other words, yeah. All right. This is setting the groundwork or framework for other languages of Israelites of other languages speaking in the truth. Just telling you, you have to have an interpreter. Right?
Okay.
Even speaking, all right, the brother from Mexico speaking Spanish who teach the Mexico class. He's around commanding general and other generals who don't speak Spanish. And him get up on him, speak something good in Spanish. It might be righteous, but let's say the generals can't interpret what he said. There's no interpreter to tell you what they say. What do you think they have to do? I tell him to, you know, be quiet. Right, yeah.
so it's kind of interesting because even in Christianity, it's so deceptive and hypocritical. Because coming into the truth and having the understanding of the scriptures being broken down thoroughly by the men above us and our teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it happen where a person get up and babble in the church, and after babbling, is either somebody maybe some distance in the pew says something as an interpretation, so to speak, of what the person just babbled, or the person who babbles have something to say and interpreting what I just babbled.
Right. So, right, if you can speak the English, why babble it in the first place? Speak the English. Right. So, all right. Remember, coming as a nation from speaking, everybody speaking ancient Hebrew. When it comes to the New Testament now, you have people speaking Greek, people speaking other languages. Because remember when the Passover was being kept, you had Jews from all over the world who came to the Passover, right? And they were speaking in their language. So on the Pentecost now was where the speaker was able to speak, and they were actually hearing in their language. Today, you're doing that, you would have interpreters who is going to interpret to them in their language. But back then there was none, and it was the Spirit of God that was moving to put back the nation together again. That time might just come again in that way, or because technology is so advanced, you could have software that interprets to another Israelite in their language what you are saying. But it is not that Bible language that the church trying to tell you that is speaking in the tongue, right? That is not what this is talking about. This is bigger than just that. And all you know is not that they don't know the truth. They don't preach that we are Israelite. The Bible tell you that the Most High is not done with you. It tell you that until the ordinances of the earth disappear, he will, if it disappear, then he will cut off Israel from before it. Israel will cease being a nation before it. All that don't happen. But yet still, you are nowhere to be found in the church as an Israelite. As a matter of fact, where did we learn that we are Gentile?
In the church.
Where did we learn that we are Ham's descendant, the one who saw his father naked? Canaan.
In the church.
And because we saw Abraham naked, then we are cursed. At church, you learn that,
Right.
So what good or profit or what could it profit you to learn what they are saying in that tongue?
And Salakia, sir. Salakia.
Yeah.
That same point, to add to your point, sir, that same doctrine that we are a ham, it came directly from a white supremacist. It was a white supremacist in the United States who taught that, and it, you know what I mean, fester in the churches, and all the churches teach that today.
And the white supremacist does go to church.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And the white spies and killers, they don't go to church.
Right.
Yeah. The Southern Ku Klux Klan, they go to church.
Gone. Good old Christians.
Yeah, man, good old Christian.
Gone.
Donald Trump is a Christian.
Right.
I mean, you want more than that? So what good is there in speaking in that tongue that they're talking about, speaking in tongue? Here it is telling about speaking with tongues.
Right.
And they are deceptive, you have to watch out for them. Small words.
Yes, answer.
You have to watch out with those, watch out for that small word. They just change one word. They don't change it in the Bible, All they need to do is to speak it on the pulpit. And from them, whatever they speak from the pulpit, you down there in the pew take it as gospel. Yeah, they know how to play with your emotions. Lord said to sow a seed. You're going through a hard time and he's going to deliver you, but you have to sow a seed. Him not say him can get a bank loan for you, you know.
Good.
Because your business is struggling.
Right.
But him still want to pull for your struggling business.
Good.
Fatten himself.
Good. Slack yeah. Him not say him can pay your rent, you know. You know
And him not pay your rent, you know.
Right.
And if you, when you leave the service, you might go, when you leave the service, you might be going to your bed, go home and go to your bed hungry, you know.
Right.
But sow the seed.
Good.
Right, that's it. Don't really mind if you're an Israelite, just pay your tithes. The laws are done away with, but pay your tithes.
Good. Good. Good.
I'm looking for them to deception. That's remember.
Number one scammer them, man. Slack yeah.
Right. And at the same time, they want to charge our people for scamming while they have scammed you
right,
left, right, and center. So much so that they even, one group even take away your identity and have it. That's why the church don't tell you that you're Israelite, you know. Because them don't want the conflict.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, telling you that you're an Israelite is going to throw the whole plot that they have, throw it in a tailspin. Because the next question is the same question when you hear that. So if we are the Israelite, how would them people lay up so? We get that on the streets all the while. So imagine you getting that in the church. So they don't. Any more questions? All right, with no further questions, return the class to priest and officer Kayadwan.
All right, clap it up.
Just remember the most the Bible says, by their works you shall know them. So regardless of what they want in the church, watch the works. Same thing in the truth is the works we want. Yeah.
Slack here, 1 second.
Oh boy. Am I tired? Am I tired or am I tired? All right, let's see you put up the sign-in sheet. Remember to put in the sign-out sheet.
Sign-out sheet, gone, sir. Yeah, man. Do that right now. Another one gone. This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister. Slacky, you say something, sir?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18 and verse 21. And Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10, means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming holy convocation. All right, so the next upcoming holy convocation is the Feast of First Fruits, and that, you know what I mean, it says it starts after the Sabbath unleavened bread, sundown, and Saturday, April the 23rd, 2022, then count 50 days, celebrate the 50th day, Sunday, June 12, 2022. And it starts before sundown. You can find this in the book of Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 10 to verse 22. Reminding Akiam and Akwatiam to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we say I medium, which means to stand. Sarwapanya Akwadam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabashamaya.
Shabashamaya.
Wadash.
Wadash.
Aya.
Aya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Alakwatka.
Malakwatka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Ratazaka.
Ratazaka.
Aya.
Aya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Baharataza.
Baharataza.
Hawa.
Hawa.
Aya.
Aya.
Washamayam.
Washamayam.
Natanlanawa.
Natanlanawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Kal.
Kal.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalaklanawa.
Wasalaklanawa.
Kawabwatnawa.
Kawabwatnawa.
Kasalatnawa.
Kasalatnawa.
Kawabwatia. Slakia. Kawabwatnawa. Slakia. Kawabwatianawa.
Kawabwatianawa.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabaya anawa.
Tabaya nawa.
Banasaya one.
Banasaya one.
Abal.
Abal.
Awashainawa.
Awashainawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Right.
Right.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwat.
Amalakwat.
Wa'ala.
Wahala.
Wa'ataparat.
Wa'ataparat.
La'aywalamyam.
La'aywalamyam.
Amen.
Amen. In English. Our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom.
But deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom.
And the power and the glory.
And the power and the glory.
Forever so be.
Forever so be.
All right, pray for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth. And all
King of heaven and earth.
and all things living.
and all things living.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh,
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh,
listen to us now,
listen to us now,
right now.
right now.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
to the Eden
to the Eden
that speak against us,
that speak against us,
that thy prophet,
thy prophets,
the teachers,
the teachers,
the princes,
the princes,
the priests,
the priests,
the Israelite brothers and the school.
the Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
Send evils
to the
and
Eden.
curses and punishment and destruction
to the Eden,
to the Eden,
and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school.
and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
to the Edomites
to the Edomites
and the nations
and the nations
and their drug dealers,
and their drug dealers,
the court system,
the court system,
the prison system,
the prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
the Pope,
the Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Aryan Nation,
Skinheads,
Skinheads,
Posse Comitazi,
Posse Comitazi,
the gay movement,
the gay movement,
the lesbian movement,
the lesbian movement,
spies,
spies,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA space programs,
NASA space program,
Army,
Army,
Navy,
Navy,
Air Force,
Air Force,
Marines,
Marines,
Wall Street,
Wall Street,
open up the internet and the airways,
open up the internet and the airways,
the cable access channels and the radio channels,
the cable access channels and the radio channels.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people
Convict the spirit of any of thy people
that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the Eden
and bring swift destruction to all the Edens
that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words
that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Through the earth.
Through the earth.
And consume them.
And consume them.
Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers.
Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers.
And punish all the Edens.
And punish all the Edens.
That come up against us as we speak thy word.
that come up against us as we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known by all that is the angel that hath done it.
Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that has done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh, I thank you always so be.
In the name of Yahweh, I thank you always so be it. All right, this is the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Baba Kwasha.
Baba Kwasha.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Akak.
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 Larapa'a.
Larapa'a.
Kalmakala.
Kalmakala.
Wakal Madawa.
Wakal Madawa.
Akak.
Akak.
Lata'a.
Lataha.
Amatazaraya.
Amatazaraya.
Akak.
Akak.
La Akwayam.
Lahakwayam.
Amatyam.
Amatyam.
Akak.
Akak.
Arakawat.
Arakawat.
Atamala.
Atamala.
Lagarashan.
Lagarashan.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
THAWADAH man.
THAWADAH man. In English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh Shai.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you, so be.
Thank you, so be. All right, this is the prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Barak Lanawa.
Barak Lanawa.
Wayasharala.
Wayasharala.
Wa'a.
Waha.
Bayatsaparia.
Bayatsaparia.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa'a.
Rapa'a.
Magan.
Magan.
Hagan.
Hagan.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
The generals.
The generals.
Captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
The young men and the sisters.
The young men and the sisters.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
THAWADAH man.
THAWADAH. All right, what we just said was Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you so much.
All right, Sarah, which means to turn. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai Barakatam.
Yadamata, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sister, men of Israel. Turn and face the sister. Our Sar, which means to turn. Men of Israel, I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alatan Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shamar Alatan Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Yadamata, Class dismissed.
All right. In line with what the sister was asking earlier about speaking with tongues and interpreter. This is why you realize when we say no prayers, we say it in ancient Hebrew, and then we tell you what we say in English.
Right.
We could just say it in ancient Hebrew and leave it at that.
Gone.
It is following scriptures, say interpret.
Right.
Right. All right, you can just sign out and do the sign out thing then.
Okay, gone.
If you have any, sorry, the video, if you have the closing videos.
Gone. Yeah, man. All right, so.
All right, shalom.
Shalom, sir. All right, remember, if you're a trooper, you're supposed to be watching class in all black. You understand? The sign-up sheet is in the description. You understand? Remember to like the video, share on all social media platforms. Blast it through your contacts as well. You understand? Subscribe to the channel. You understand? And with that, shalom.
In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said he would send plagues upon the earth before he frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today. Call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K. Jamaica. Shalom.